Monday, it's my work friends.
My name is Aaron Cater.
It's Tuesday, it's my school friends.
Arab American, Palestinian. My mom's Mormon American.
Pakistani, what the hell? Wednesday, it's just a family thing.
Arabs want their kids to be doctors, lawyers, engineers.
Thursday's my actual birthday.
We have the best artists.
And then it's the weekend. You're like, how long is this gonna go on?
Do you think it's okay to make fun of your people?
Which hotel you going to? Sheraton, Hilton, Marriott? Where are you going?
I'm a comic out here in Los Angeles. I grew up on the East Coast in Washington, D.C., and now I'm out here in L.A. pursuing, comedy and acting and a career in the entertainment. So both my parents ended up in Utah. My mom is from old Mormon pioneers that went to Utah from other part of the United States as they converted to the religion. My grandfather came from Palestine in 1912. He came to Ellis Island on a boat. They changed his name from, Musa Khضير to Moses Cater, and he was just a peddler. He didn't speak the language, and he was selling whatever he could to make a living, and we don't know why, but he was going west, and when you go west, you have to go through Utah, and that's where he got a notice that he was drafted into the military for World War I. My dad and his brothers and sisters, the whole family, was born in the 30s and 40s, immigrant style on a farm in Provo, Utah, around all those Mormons.
How did you boys do? Did you think of yourself only as Mormons, or did you think of yourself as Muslim Mormon?
I remember about second or third or one of those grades where I remember you saying you are a Palestinian and there's a struggle and there's, this thing that's going on over there, and that was something you had to explain, because otherwise, we knew we had an ethnic grandma, but we didn't understand what it all was about. And we definitely felt like we were just kind of from your side of the family with the Mormons but I at least felt like we're not exactly like them. All these redhead cousins and blonde hair, we knew we weren't.
Was there ever a point where you just knew you were different? Or was it just kind of constantly with?
I don't think it ever hamstrung any of us, but we didn't feel like that we fit in with the Mormons completely. But then when we come out here and make that move to a diverse area, then we felt even more white then. Because then we realized, well, we're not that ethnic, we're not immigrants.
When we came to Washington,
yeah.
D.C., you had a lot of cleavages. So you're Mormon kids, Palestinian kids, American kids, cosmopolitan kids moving into a fairly sophisticated society like Washington, D.C., and finding out that being Palestinian wasn't the problem, being Mormon was the problem.
Yeah.
When we were growing up, my father always taught us that other religions were as sacred to them as our religion is to us, whether it's Jews, Mormons, Catholics, whatever. And he donated to Boys Town, the Catholic orphanage out in the middle of Omaha, Nebraska. Anyway, he was just this really super patriotic guy.
Rigid almost.
He did, but he said, you show me a country outside the United States that takes care of its veterans, takes care of its people. So one of the things that we just had in our minds forever was we all owed the country. We had to pay back somehow in a democracy. So all 6 boys were urged to serve, and all 6 of us did. We all went in the Army. 1 went to the Air Force. And that's what really, really mattered to him, is that we gave back.
He loved America.
He loved this country.
So in '95, the family went to the Middle East for the first time. We traveled all over, but we spent, our home base is Palestine. We see the family, we meet the family. There's, over 2,000 members of the family that are all over the place. They are excited that they have American cousins that they'd never met either. So we spent a lot of time getting to know them, and that was for the whole family. I think it completed that understand. We'd always heard about where we were from, but until you go there and you meet everybody and you spend time there, it wasn't complete. And that trip really completed our understanding of where we came from and where our grandparents came from and how they lived.
So what's happening in this picture there?
He was always giving me things. And he's always dressed in perfect khakis.
Yeah.
Perfectly dressed.
Yeah, he's always
And
good.
he cared. And he took a lot of time to make sure that little pointed part of the keffiyeh
was
perfect. He always did it. And then we took a picture, and he said, "To Sister Nancy, with my best wishes, together in our Palestine, Arafat, 84.
Wow.
And by the time we got to Oslo, was 93, 92, 94, something like that. You know, I was the head of the Arab American Anti-Discrimination Committee, which is a major civil rights organization.
Yeah.
And we always took on every cause.
Any kind of around the world.
Yeah. So this is a former senator who was an Arab,
Oh.
Lebanese, Abu Rizk, and he's still alive in South Dakota. And we went to get arrested in front of the South African embassy.
Yeah.
And if you look really closely at this guy, he's a homeless guy who just got in the circle.
That's democracy. That's America for you. You can have a senator, a professor, and a homeless man just all fighting for justice, right?
Yeah.
I'm going.
My name is Paul Elia. I am Chaldean Assyrian, and I am an actor and comedian.
I love eating Arabic food with the sound of a truck going backwards.
All right, take number 40.
Give me your phone!
I don't know if you guys are familiar with na'alas. Something we like to call glass of sugar.
Oh, what's in it?
Sugar in a glass.
Hello,
My mom. And she still slaps me.
looking for a wife? Why? When do you want to get married?
Like my dad's with some travel agent in Detroit, and he goes, "All right, sir, this is America. Where would you like to move to?" My dad's like, "Well, honestly, I don't like change."
Both my parents are Iraqi immigrants, and they moved to America in the late 80s where they met, and they got married in San Diego, California, and they had 4 wonderful boys, myself included, and then they moved us to Detroit, Michigan, where I was raised for 18 years. So, very fortunate. My parents, they kind of look at professions at the highest level. So, if you're an actor and a comedian, if you're not working with the best guys and making the most money, then you're not considered successful. And every Middle Eastern parent's dream is for their children to be successful. And they want you to be successful at the highest level. So when I was in my early 20s, I was studying English and theater at Wayne State University, and I planned on going to law school. And things kind of changed for me when I found this new love for acting. And I moved to Los Angeles in 2011. I was going to go to law school. I had 2 classes left to graduate. And I told my parents that I'm gonna take a semester off to work on a TV show that was filming in Detroit. So my parents were okay with it as long as I go back to school. And when filming was done, I just felt like I can't do anything else. So I told my mom and I told my dad, and without their blessing, I moved to Los Angeles. And yeah, it was the best decision I've ever made. Now my parents, you know, they think differently about it because they see that their son is successful, but before that, it was very difficult. And I'm glad I did it, glad I went through it. It was a very beautiful experience for me.
Okay, little drummer roll, please.
Hey, Jerry!
Don't post cats on Instagram.
You're not allowed back on set.
Right, sorry.
Don't go near the ocean.
So it was definitely a struggle in the beginning because I wasn't operating on that level. They didn't get that it was a process. Like my mom would call me and she'd be like, "Paul, I saw a movie with Brad Pitt." Brad Pitt? I'm like, "Yeah, Mom, Brad Pitt." She goes, "Yeah, why don't you call him? Call him, work with him." I'm like, "Yeah, Mom, I can't just really call him and ask him to be in a movie with me." She goes, "See, you're not concentrating enough. You don't want it that bad." So So I called Brad Pitt.
Yes.
Hi, Jocelyn Carver?
Yeah.
I have a delivery for you. Just need your signature.
Okay.
And initial here.
Okay, sorry, I'm in the middle of something.
And initial here.
Okay.
And one more time.
We've seen one of these bullets before. What did they use it with?
Well, the sleepy sleep gun, I think.
But this is an icer. Triple the stopping power and a much cooler name.
What else do you have?
Here we are, last drink of the night. Something we like to call glass of sugar.
Oh, what's it? What's in it?
Sugar in a glass.
Oh.
Garloff left for the night, it's late.
I can't believe I've been stood up, Brian.
You know, you were gonna break up with him, so it's probably for the best.
Want my advice?
No, she did not tell you that. Tell me she did not tell you. No, she did not tell you that. No, she did not. No. No. Be clear.
From Midtown Palestine, Aaron Cater.
You guys, thanks for coming out. What a beautiful crowd, beautiful crowd, beautiful, beautiful. Thanks for coming. My name's Aaron Cater. I'm a Palestinian. Any Palestinians here?
When I first started out in comedy, I was really writing jokes for white people. I was writing jokes for a typical, you know, what I thought of an American audience. They probably didn't know much about Arabs. They probably didn't know the difference between a Palestinian and a Pakistani. They probably have no real curiosity about any of it. And so to make them curious or interested in something that they probably aren't, it was going to have to be funny. And I might have to sort of spoon feed some things to people.
Growing up Palestinian too, people would be like, what are you, Greek, Italian, Jewish? What are you? Palestinian. Pakistilian? What the hell is a Pakistilian? Pakistilia, that sounds made up. So where is Pakistilia? They're like, there's no such country as Pakistilia, you know?
I did have an observation about how, you know, Arabs want their kids to be doctors, lawyers, engineers, you know, anything that'll make money, real estate. We always joke about that, but they never encourage you to go into the arts because there's not a lot of money to be made all the time in the arts, right? But when Arabs talk about the art from the Arab culture, they love, we have the best artists, Arab invented art. You're like, if you are so proud of the history of the art and the culture, why wouldn't you encourage your kids to ever do it, you know? But the reason they want their kids to make money and they want them to be doctors and lawyers and engineers is because they have the same, you know, idea that we do. They just want to be successful so that they can be integrated and be accepted into the culture.
I moved to LA to pursue a career in acting and comedy. And obviously, you know how our parents are. So something like that definitely caused a big problem. And honestly, Jacob, even now, like, there's no, I think you said it earlier, you said the thing about they only understand things at the highest level. Like, if you were an actor, if you're not doing a movie with George Clooney or Matt Damon, then they're just like, oh, well, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. So it's that constant, like, and it makes you look at your accomplishments that way too. Like, I did a guest star on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I had my name in the font in the beginning of the episode. And that was the first time, I think, my family's last name was shown on national television, which I thought was like such a beautiful thing. And that's the way I looked at it. But they didn't look at it like that at all. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's just a, like the thing with the couches, like the thing with those rooms that no one sleeps in. It's just it's a perspective thing. Like, they think having a room with just artifacts in it that no one can sit in, it serves a purpose. And my critique of that is like, you're just wasting. Why don't you just utilize this space? Mm-hmm. They think the same way of me moving to Los Angeles to be an actor and comedian. They're saying you're not utilizing your mind well enough. You can be a doctor or a lawyer like my brothers. But, you know, and again, man, I really feel like God put us together for a reason here in this city, and we're both have similar paths, and we both resisted a lot, and that definitely means something. You know what I mean? So like, no matter what, there's a lot of Chaldeans that want to do art and want to do singing, want to do a lot of things, and then you and me, despite all that stuff, came over here. So the journey's not going to be easy. Even for a white person, the journey's not easy. Even for a black
anybody,
person, for anybody.
It's a career in arts. You know, any career. If you're a painter, if you're a poet, if you're a musician, if you're an actor, if you're a comedian, if you're a photographer, you know, these are all arts that you really have to prove yourself in on a wide level, or like on a grand level, to be noticed and then to actually make money.
So being Chaldean American is something that is very important to me. There are very few Chaldeans in the whole world, and most people don't even know what a Chaldean is. So I would like to use any type of popularity or voice that I may have to shine a light on my culture and my nationality. So that's something I feel very passionate about.
My family's from Iraq, but I was actually raised in Detroit, right? Cool, let me say that again. You guys, my family left Iraq to start a new life in Detroit. No, guys, that's a lateral move, okay? Like, they left one place and went to the same place. They went from rags to rags. Like, it's like, Dad, who was your travel agent, playa? Like, my dad's with some travel agent in Detroit, and he goes, all right, sir, this is America. Where would you like to move to? My dad's like, well, honestly, I don't like change. To keep it 100, I don't like change, okay? You know, I like it when everything stays the same, you feel me? I mean, the climate can change, but the danger, I need it, okay? Goes, all right, sir, well, you can go to Detroit, it's the murder capital of the world. Continue.
What do you think life would be like if you were to try to be a comedian actor in Iraq?
Well, something about me, Jacob, which you know already, I'll do whatever I need to do. I've always had that mindset. So if you really want something bad enough, you'll make it happen no matter what.
I agree.
All the most brilliant stories all come from a place of resilience. All comes from a place of people being rejected, and they're not supposed to be there. People will say on stage after winning an Oscar, I'm not supposed to be here. There's friends of mine that are living in Chicago that are brilliant comics, and they're like, man, I don't know how I'm alive.
What kind of reactions do you get, like when you're on stage and you're like, so I'm Chaldean?
Okay, here, I'm gonna be the audience member. You tell me you're Chaldean.
Hey, my name is Paul Elia, and I'm Chaldean. You know, like
what?
Northern Iraqi. That's Christian.
Where's that?
We speak Aramaic.
He's like, honey, is there like a translator?
You know, Jesus' original language.
Honey, can you open Google?
Nobody really knows what.
No, man, nobody knows. Every now and then I'll do a show and I'll say, so I'm Chaldean. Then one person in the back's like, woo! And I'm like, do you know what Chaldeans are? And they're like, no, I'm just supporting. I'm like, okay. Cool, thank you. There's always been a religious persecution in the world. People have been persecuted against for their religion and race. But specifically, if we were to just look at religion, that's what happened in Iraq to the Chaldeans. Even during Saddam's reign and the Ba'ath Party, and it continued on after that. So over the years, there's been a lot of persecution against Chaldeans. A lot of Chaldeans have been forced to leave their homes and try and find ways to start a new life. And it's very sad, and it really hits home to me in a lot of ways. I hope one day we can have peace. I hope one day we can have peace, and I really hope that the persecution of whether you're Christian or Muslim or Buddhist or whatever your religion is, I really hope that one day you're allowed to wear any type of pendant you want
and you're able to go to any type of religious establishment free from fear.
Arabs don't understand. There's not a phrase in Arabic for self-deprecation.
I know a donut. What's donut?
Can I get some culture to the table? Thanks.
Excuse me?
One of the pieces of advice I always give is like, don't ever tell Middle Eastern people what you paid for anything. Because Arabs always do that, hey, Habibi, come here, come here, come here, come here, come here. Yeah, no, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Come here, and it gets like weird. You know, it's like, what are we doing? Come here, talk to me. How much you pay for that? You know, Arabs always ask you how much you paid for that. Don't ever tell them how much you paid, because no matter what you paid, they're gonna make you feel like you got ripped off. No matter what. How much you pay for this shirt? Oh, it was like $50. $50? Why you pay so much? Everybody, look, this guy's overpaying for a jacket. That's $50. I could have got you a discount. I got to get you a deal. I could have hooked you up. And then they always do that. Why didn't you tell me? I'm like, I don't know who you are, man. I've never even met you. You just walked up and it got really weird.
When it comes to entertainment, I've had to explain to Arabs, they're like, why would you do this jokes? You know, and like, do you think it's okay to make fun of your people? Like, I've had people like that. You think it's okay to make fun of your people? I said, well, yeah, because then if everybody sees us laughing at ourselves, then it humanizes us and it makes us look like pretty good. And they're like, oh, yeah, very good. Like, they never thought about what good could come from making fun of our people and being self-deprecating. Arabs don't understand. There's not a phrase in Arabic for self-deprecation. You know, making fun of yourself is not something that Arabs do naturally.
Most recently, I was back in the Middle East. Anybody here ever been to the Middle East? Yeah? That's great, see, because we got Middle Eastern people here. But generally, if somebody says, I've been to the Middle East, it's like, Marine, Army, Navy, Air Force, which one? But, you know, I went over there after 9/11, and I was visiting a cousin in Amman, Jordan, right? And I'm driving around with my cousin who's like, America, I think you're so strong, so powerful, so big and strong. And, you hungry? You want something to eat? You hungry? We got Burger King, McDonald's, Pizza Hut, Applebee's.
Yeah, in many ways, Aaron has opened up a lot of doors to Arab comedians. And Aaron has been a mentor to me, a dear friend, a brother, and we shared a lot of we've been through a lot of difficult times, a lot of happy times, and just with the natural grind of this business.
There needs to be a fracture in the Middle Eastern stereotypes where it's like, we're not just going to stereotype Arabs, but also Chaldeans, Armenians, Assyrians, you know, all the groups, you know, the Shia, the Sunni, everybody has to have their own little stereotype. That would be a nice world.
No, but it's so funny because it's like, I just think that us making fun of each other and us showing our problems, like that's what we can do that like politics can't do, right? So politics is like everyone's peaceful, everyone's the same, and we're like, I don't know, we're weird.
If the mainstream is, oh, everybody's human and you just gotta respect everybody, but they don't really understand anything.
Yeah, they don't get it.
You know, blind respect, it's nice that people are tolerant, you know, but it helps when there's that layer that only artists, musicians, comics can sort of add those layers of, you know, getting people to understand. Comedy is always about opposites, the differences, the contrast, the accident, you know, the surprise. I mean, it's hard not to be able to see the comedy in all the different ethnic makeups, because especially at the end of the day when we're all like totally American, you know, we don't feel like we're not American at all.
Yeah.
You know, we are just totally, we can relate to people. It's not like we're immigrants that we're having a tough time trying to communicate who we, you know what I mean? It comes natural to us is what I'm saying. It's easy.
We're all family. We're all family in this game, and all of us are in this business doing something unique, and we all recognize that, and we all love each other as a result. So, and those guys are my brothers, so I love those guys very dearly. I'm funnier than all of them, but like they know that. Like Aaron knows I'm funnier than him, and so does Rami. And yeah, better looking than Rami and Aaron. So
I think that people growing up in the Middle East of our generation are also feeling a divide. And I know that because when we went and did stand-up in the Middle East, doing stand-up in Palestine, everyone gets the joke.
Yeah.
You know, everyone gets what we're talking about. So, you know, our comedy, when we do it, it works everywhere. And it's because we're all kind of going through a similar thing.
Yeah.
And that is because we're connected in a way that we haven't. So it's like when you look at, you know, Black Lives Matter and you look at Arab Spring, you know, like these things are connected. You know,
Yeah,
they're not,
it feels like that.
They're not separate.
I mean, yeah, like
I feel that too. Like the culture over there is like they're young and they want change and they want all these things to happen and they're just the same as us. They have the same aspirations as we do. They're just have an underdeveloped, you know, infrastructure to do it. They don't have a foundation over there as much. So that's really the difference that America has always had, though, is that like there's always going to be a platform for you to do anything.
Usually only girls do their birthdays and let everybody know it's and how long's your birthday gonna go on for all week, or is today your actual birthday, or are you gonna do your whole lunar cycle? Is it like your whole astrological cycle? It's gonna last your entire, you know, what are you, a Pisces? Man, that's how girls do that. They go, Monday, it's my work friends. Tuesday, it's my school friends. And then on Wednesday, it's just a family thing. And then Thursday's my actual birthday. And then it's the weekend. You're like, how long is this gonna f***ing go on? Other people have to do.
Oh, I got it. You got it? I got it. That's that cabbage stuff?
Yeah, I've never had it. I don't think, but
Fatouche is the way to go, bro.
It looked good.
Fatouche is the way to go. Okay. So you guys have Fatouche in your culture? I mean, I don't know, because you say you say it's Chaldean, right?
Chaldean, yeah.
And then can we assume that it's just part of Iraq, or how do you
course,
explain
man.
it?
Honestly, man, I don't even know anymore. It's the food's all the same, pretty much. Arabic. I love eating Arabic food with the sound of a truck going backwards.
Okay.
That's the favorite. It's the only way that I enjoy it. I need that soundtrack. Yo, my alarm clock is just a truck going backwards. I wake up every time. What's your favorite Middle Eastern dish?
I can get real complicated with mine. You ready?
I mean, I have no choice. So. You're paying for this, so I gotta listen.
It's an eggplant stuffed with rice and a little bit of meat on tomato sauce. Yeah.
So it's not dolma.
I don't know what dolma is. What's dolma?
Waiter.
It's not on the menu. This is a Lebanese place. It's not on the menu.
Can I get some culture to the table? Thanks.
Excuse me?
And just give it to this guy. You know what dolma is?
What's dolma?
No,
it sounds familiar.
I can't be here anymore.
Hey, does anybody know dolma?
You've never heard of dolma?
No.
This is dolma, bro. How do you not know what this is?
That's called wara'ana, bro.
Wara'ana? Look, it's not called wara'ana.
It's wara'ana. It's called wara'ana. I know what that is. My grandma makes it too. You know, my family, they have like this, and then there's like the bone, you know, the bone, and there's like some meat inside the bone. Everybody starts knocking on the bone and stuff. Do you guys do that too?
No.
Yeah, I know exactly what that is, man. They get real, yeah.
You guys eat food loud. Why are you knocking on
really
things?
do. Like they knock on it.
Arabs have to do everything loud. Like they're having dinner, they got to do this. Like they do this.
I just.
Sorry,
did you do that?
Why you gotta draw so much attention to yourself?
Are you taking some heat?
Huh?
Are you getting heat?
A little bit.
How often? Is it every day? Every once a month?
No, I mean she brings it up.
With mama or grandma?
No, my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Like she'll bring it up in like the strangest ways. Like usually, if we're talking about food, then I'll mention Doma. But we're talking about something completely different, like yoga, and then I know where I'm like, oh, you know Doma? It's like, where'd that come from? So my mom would bring up marriage randomly.
She's like,
I'm like, Mom, I'm about to go to this audition. She goes, when will you find someone to love you?
Like, I got enough love.
I'm like, I'm about to go in for this Tide commercial, and you got me thinking about children?
When you feel like you're an American who has Arab heritage, it is hard to meet like a girl who has your same experience because there just didn't seem that many of us. But as I got older, I started to meet more people, and you start to get exposed to more and more cities, communities, and places. And I never thought I'd marry a Lebanese girl, but that's the person I ended up falling in love with. My wife, she's Lebanese, but she's Canadian too, and that changes the whole dynamic. 'Cause Canadians are very, very nice, very nice.
When we talk about like how you and Omar, your family, you guys decided you were going to get married, and his side was like, well, what do you want with this Mormon girl? And your side was like, well, what do you want with the one Arab of however many people in Utah?
Right.
And my family kind of did the same thing to me until that trip when they met you. They were like, well, who is this guy? You're just going to go move to the States, and we don't know anything about him, and you know, he could be crazy for all we know. And then they met you and Omar. And my grandmother, she tells me all the time, like in Arabic, she goes, you know, I thank God all the time that you found him and that family. She goes, I don't know what you did so good in this world to deserve, like to get such a kind family, such a, you know, giving.
The truth was, we just wanted to have another girl in the family because I had all those boys.
You get 4 girls now.
How is Aaron with the baby? Does he help you a lot with the baby, or does he make?
Those two only have eyes for each other. Like, I don't exist. Like when people say cut the umbilical cord, it's between him and her, not me. Her first word was Baba, like daddy. And I went to like lean over to her, and she just stiff-armed me. It was like the Heisman, like she just pushed me right out of it. I was like, I birthed you. I had heartburn.
I was going to bring my wife today, but she was busy putting on lip liner for too long, so I just left her at home. I got married. By the way, ladies, you know how you'll buy a wedding dress and you'll just wear it once? This is the jacket I wore in my wedding, just so you know. It can be used again. All right? This wasn't a one-time deal for me. It's my only tux jacket. I married a Lebanese woman. And when you do that, you do have a choice. You can put a down payment on a house or just keep buying eyeliner. That's basically the choice you have, one or the other. And you know how Arabs go on Inshallah time? You guys know Inshallah time? That's Arab time. It means you're just going to be about 30, 45 minutes late. So what time do we have to be there? 7:30. What time should we leave? Inshallah, 7:30. We'll go until 7:30. And I think the reason we're always late is because of the women, to be honest. Yeah. Hey, I have guy friends. We meet and we play golf. We meet and we have coffee. We go to movies on time. But when you include the women, it takes a long time. They put it on, they put the makeup on, and like I'll sit for about an hour and a half waiting for her to be ready. And then for about an hour and a half, I'm ready. And then she comes out and wants a compliment, and she doesn't realize that during that hour and a half that I've been waiting for her, I've had a lot of very dark thoughts.
Looking for a wife? Why? When you want to get married?
Man, never.
Your whole body was just shivering, thinking, oh God, that could be me.
The Middle Eastern culture and just, they're very narrow-minded when it comes to marriage in general. And I think a lot of it is just their wording and their tone. Like they don't they're unaware of how it's coming across. Like my mom would, my mom would tell me, so will you ever find a woman? And I'm like, well, maybe if I find the right woman. And she's like, well, you know, if you keep being an actor, no one will love you. It's very hard to find a woman to love you if you're on stage and you're trying to be funny. No woman loves that. I asked 3 women. I said, you know, my son, he's funny. They're like, yeah, my daughter, no, she don't like that. So that's 3 people gone. So I think I just feel like Middle Eastern parents are just a little naive to that. Like they don't. Obviously, they want you to marry a Middle Eastern woman only. Like my mom wants me to marry a Chaldean woman only. So I'm not worried about it. I feel like God has a plan for me, and everything that is happening in my life right now is happening for a reason. And I put all my faith in God. And I am 30 years old. Am I thinking right now that I would find marriage? I mean, I hope so. And in the meantime, I just put my faith in God and keep moving forward.
Hello.
Hi, Mama.
Hi, Mom.
What you doing, Mama?
I'm cleaning.
Yeah?
So what else is new, Paul?
Nothing. Just looking for a wife.
Looking for a wife? Why? When you want to get married?
Man, never.
Never?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then you and Mom are going to live together forever.
I know, that's what I want. We're a team, Mom.
Then what? We're always team. But
Yeah.
one day you got to have a life of yours, Sidney.
Damn.
Yeah. One day. That's life.
Yeah, one day. Not anytime soon.
Well.
Best by then.
By then? Okay. That's nice. Until you find the right person?
Exactly, Mom.
Okay. It's hard to find the right person, but it's hard, but it's not impossible.
Exactly. That's what that's what I was telling Ahmed. We were talking in the car, and he was saying the same thing.
You just gotta get lucky to find that person.
I know.
To accept you for who you are, not what you have.
Yeah, maybe I can like one day I can meet a woman that has the same like someone like you, but that's impossible, finding a woman as good as you. So.
Well, 35 years ago maybe, but these days it's hard.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah. Yeah. To accept what you own, but what kind of person you are. Handle it fun and life and raise a good children. That's not going to be easy.
I know, Mom.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yellow, Mom.
I love you, Paulie.
I love you too,
I
Mama.
love you, Mom.
Let's call me after you're done with the house, Mom.
Okay, Habibi.
All right, love you, Mom.
I love you too. Bye.
Bye. My mom is a very she is a very hardworking woman, and she's very tough, and she still slaps me. She still slaps me. Like, if I go home to visit, and if I come home late, she'll wait by the door in the shadows. And then as I walk through the door, then she'll be like, ah! And slap me, and throw a na'ala at me. I don't know if you guys are familiar with na'alas. They are sandals that Middle Eastern women use as ninja stars. And they hurt very bad. And a lot of ducking, okay? A lot of ducking in my household. My mom was, she had to raise 4 boys, well, including my dad, 5 boys. So she had to be a very tough woman, and I owe everything to my mom.
You know those old uncles that all they do is talk politics? And their politics, their version of politics is still like 1967, you know what I mean? They're like, the Israelis, you know, the Israelis, they're always with the Israelis. And I'm like, when did they become aliens, first of all? Right, and then we're talking, and I have this cousin Hassan who's like, gets really, really angry when he starts talking about it, and I had to finally stop him, and I said, hey Hassan, like, what would happen if peace just broke out? What would you do with yourself? Like, what would you complain about? You know what I mean? Without this conflict, who are you? Like, what would you do if peace just happened? And he just looked at me like, what? What do you mean? Like, what? And I said, yeah, if peace happened, what would you do? And he goes, Harun, we will continue to fight. I was like, no. But if there was peace, like seriously, if peace just magically, if it could happen, like then what? We will resist. I'm like, no, peace, no, there will never be peace. And I'm like, all right.
It's expected of us here in America to get along with people. It's expected that you would be civil and you would engage, and if you want to have an argument about the politics or the thing, you do that without violence, without threatening each other, and it's just a whole different level past, taking up arms and fighting directly. I mean, you're just expected to get along with people in America and not be a racist. I do appreciate the opportunity that you have in America to even attempt to change your stereotype. Other countries, it's set in stone. There's no way out of whatever sect you're in. If you're born in, like Iraq is a good place where it's like in Syria, there's sects. And all these sects have been fighting. And we don't do that in America we're not gonna have a bloody civil war hopefully ever again, but we do continue to fight on a different level. Fight for understanding, fight for people to understand who we are, what our plight is, how our values are the same, and how we can all be sort of altruistic in our goals to succeed as citizens of the same country, right? Because this is a very diverse country. It is a blessing to be raised in America, and you don't always realize it, but I remember when I was 13 years old, my two best buddies growing up were Jewish, and I went to their bar mitzvahs, and I didn't think anything of it. But my dad thought it was amazing, and he wrote their parents letters, and he said how great it is that a Palestinian and a Jewish, the kids can get together and be friends. And it meant a lot to them, and it meant a lot to us that we were friends. But when we were 13, we really didn't even think about it. It wasn't a thing that we considered the profoundness of our friendship. We were just kids being friends. So that's one of those things that America does that you sort of take for granted. You have this incredible, different, diverse experience with other cultures that you wouldn't have in other countries. You grew up in Shafat, would your dreams change or would they stay the same?
I'll never forget that morning we had finished our tour from Jerusalem to Cairo, from city to city by cab. We had to be down at that bus station to go back through Israel to Jerusalem and then off. It was 4 o'clock in the morning, and all these street kids were up at 2, 3, 4 in the morning running around, and you befriended a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And as we got ready to leave, I think you gave them quarters and whatever change you had. And they started running beside the bus. Remember that? And I looked over at you, and you looked at me, and you just shivered, like your whole body was just shivering, thinking, oh God, that could be me. You remember that?
You thought you were like meeting some kids that you could relate to, and then they're chasing down a bus for some quarters, and you're like, I don't know.
You were almost shaken by that, weren't you? What bothered you?
I wish I could remember.
Because you got to be on I'll tell you, I never forgot that look on your face, and I know what we were thinking.
My life changed that day is what happened. I don't remember if it was that incident that did it. It could have been the dinner. But Are you sure it wasn't Cairo?
It was Cairo.
Oh, are you talking about Cairo?
Yeah.
Man.
Does anybody here want to recall how popular Aaron was in Egypt?
Why does it have to be about me?
And everywhere we went, people would follow Aaron and they'd get to know him.
Disappeared into the night, following Aaron, following friends. We went to some night.
We'd wake up.
Yeah.
We'd wake up the next morning, and everybody say, "Hi, Aaron. Hi, Aaron." And we'd say, "We've been in this town exactly 12 hours."
Yeah, and you slept for 8 of them.
Yeah.
We left. We were leaving Luxor to go on the train, and the felucca boy, the guy who.
Oh, I broke his heart.
We had promised to go on a felucca ride, and then we didn't.
Yeah.
And he was following behind. Haroon, please.
I kept saying, yeah, I guess we're going to do it tomorrow, and then we're leaving, and he's like...
Oh, it's so sad.
Remember we went with the taxi driver one night? He took us out, we rolled around. I think we were just smoking and hanging out, and we stayed out late. And
I think he took us to his home.
yeah, that's what it was. We went to his house. We did, we went to his house.
You ate watermelon, didn't you?
Yeah, his mom and everybody else, and then they brought us a little something to smoke on and hang out.
At the end, the little kids were like, "Bucksheesh?"
Yeah.
And we were like,
"Here you go."
I thought you brought us into your home, and now they're asking for a tip. Like,
No.
That's what we do. They're asking, you know what it means? Tip them. We're like,
And you remember the thoughts you had about you get to leave, you get to come back to America.
I mean, the power, just the voltage, you know, on the wall, you know, and the light bulbs, and even in Shalfat, you know, when you'll be eating dinner and it'll be like just a light bulb hanging from the ceiling. The lighting is a lot better in America, is what I'm saying. America is a place that you can do whatever you want. The opportunity is always there, and there's not always a formula. You can create anything in America from nothing and turn it into something. And not a lot of other countries can say that with as much honesty as we can. There's challenges. It's more complex than that. But the basic thing about America is it is what you make it. It is what you bring to it. You can invent, you can create, you can entertain, you can serve. People who came to this country and struggled and had to walk through a goddamn desert or over a river to get here, you would hope that the world would be kind to them and the doors would open up for an immigrant and maybe they could get what they're asking for. You know, for people who come to this country, I prefer some of them than a lot of Americans, to be honest. And for those people, I would say welcome to America. I hope you get what you're looking for. All I ask is don't come to this country and play soccer on the basketball court. Thank you, good night.
America has given me an opportunity to really pursue what I love. And I feel like I wouldn't have the same opportunities if I was somewhere else in the world. I feel like living in America made it a lot easier. I feel like I didn't have to work under as much pressure. The only pressure I really had was my parents' approval. I never had to wake up and wonder where I'll get water. I never had to find electricity, where a lot of people in Iraq and in other parts of the world and other countries have that issue. So I was very fortunate, and I thank God every day for that.
Keep it going for your host. Somebody's house. How we feeling, y'all? Yes, good to be here. I'm Middle Eastern. Yeah, all right, that's what's up. Yeah, that's so different. I've never heard that. Well, you must be drunk. I am Middle Eastern. My family's from Iraq. Cool, enthusiasm changed, right? Yeah. Yeah, went from 0 to 100 real quick, but in reverse. Thank you, appreciate it, man. Yeah, family's from Iraq. Most people can't tell because I look like so many different races. My ethnic appearance is Uber driver. I just look like, you know what I mean? Like, who needs a charger, you know? Yeah.
I often tell people that I'm a nice guy. And if you look at my Instagram, it says Paul Elia Nice Guy. I like to say that my love and my deep respect for people, my joy of life, I think that is like a gift that my parents gave me. I really enjoy making people smile, and I really feel good when I make others feel something, whether it's through the avenue of my work or just meeting me in real life. I really enjoy gifting people that, and that's what I would like to share with the world for the rest of my life.